Hi, my name is Danny. I am a licensed esthetician and skin texture expert, and I'm the creator of Skin Harmonics, and I have developed the regenerative skin process, which is a functional medicine modeled system that creates skin that is age delaying and self-purifying. And today I want to talk about angiogenesis and also just share a few in the news skin topics. So angiogenesis is this natural process of forming new blood vessels from existing ones. And this process is essential for wound healing and supplying oxygen to tissues all over our body. But in the context of what this means for skin, a robust angiogenesis function means everything for our skin. And just to start, this is what gives our skin this self-renewing capacity, what it takes to create new skin cells. Like, our skin just doesn't make new skin cells if it's not sustained in a way to do that. And of course, the obsolete way of doing this is a trauma-based procedure. We all know here that the best way to get this cell turnover is through sustenance, through food. And so this angiogenesis is what makes that increased cell turnover possible. And then secondly, angiogenesis supports this native release function, because without this sustained blood flow of oxygen, our skin just doesn't have what it takes to be pushing things up to the surface of our skin, up and out the way that they're supposed to. And then of course, longevity. Like, this is what anti-aging skin care is all about, is we're trying to get that goal of very long healthy life where it's extended. And then I want to mention, last but not least, just this elusive and really powerful glow that just beams from health, that's from skin that is truly healthy. Like, oftentimes when there's weak angiogenesis, it opens our skins to a whole host of problems, that lackluster congestion, that dehydration, that accelerated aging, essentially. So in essence, the thicker and the more dense and the juicier our dermal and epidermal juncture is, the better off your skin is. And I like this diagram because it shows how thin this top layer of our skin is, our epidermis. So this very top layer is our stratum corneum. Right underneath it is the entirety. This little area here is all our epidermis. And do you see how thin it is compared to our dermal layer? I often talk about this being our cake layer and this being the frosting layer. And so this diagram does a really good job of showing the ratio between the two. And it's this area where we can increase that density and create that thick and robust angiogenesis, and just create that vitality that's needed to replace this upper layer, this epidermis, more often. So I also want to talk about and I will jump into what angiogenesis, how to get it, but I want to first talk about ways to not get it. And here's the list. The first thing is this traditional retinol. Traditional retinol is highly inflammatory, it's sun sensitizing, and it does not create this angiogenesis because it's working, because of the inflammation and because of the sun sensitization. Any type of cell turnover that is created just isn't worth it, because the price you pay is so high. And then antioxidants, so vitamin C, vitamin E, any adaptogens in any kind of an eye cell and adaptogen serum in any kind of skin product, like, though valuable, they're still not going to create this thickness that we're after. And then next is essential oils. So essential oils are problematic in a lot of different ways. They're very drying and astringent. They can irritate a lot of different skin types. Even if somebody has a hardier skin type, it can still be just so drying that it's not worth it. Now, they smell beautiful. We all know that, but our skin just doesn't like them. And furthermore, essential oils could never build angiogenesis in our skin in a million years. It's like something that you want in your first aid kit, but you don't want on your skin on a day-to-day basis. And then next is herbal extracts. Like, they're beautiful, love them. However, it's not something that's gonna build this epidermal dermal juncture at all. And then oils. So lipids and oils, each of you know that I'm big on this, and they're really important for our skin. However, it's still not going to directly build our dermal mattress in any way. And then clays, I added that to the list because so often I see that around, where how these clays have like special healing powers, and it just doesn't make the list when it comes to building angiogenesis, nor is it something that is beneficial to our skin in any way, because when we use a clay, it dries our skin out and shuts down our skin's native ability to cleanse itself. So I had to throw that on the list. And so now let's just talk about like what does create angiogenesis. There are two things that I have found and that exists that does this. And these are both medical grade ingredients. They're both patented, of course. I don't make these. These have been holistically engineered in, big laboratories by big companies. And these are the gems in the skincare industry. So the first is dermal nutrients. These are these bioavailable, it's basically retinaldehyde. It's what I often call the Tesla of vitamin A, because it is bioavailable and it does not cause inflammation and it does not sun sensitize. And of course, these are in my serums, Fortify, Feast, and Super Feast. I'm going to review those next. And the second is this special peptide serum that stimulates the LGR6. It's very specific stem cell. And that's from another company that, of course, isn't mine, but I've like cherry picked these two products so that we could, actually experience this regenerative skincare, because that's where it's at. It's not about diminishing our dermal layer, which ironically is what these trauma-based procedures do. All of these microneedling, lasering, all these exfoliation focused treatments, they're actually diminishing the vitality and the thickness of our dermal layer. So these are the two ways that we can get this angiogenesis happening for our skin, and they stack perfectly together. This new peptide stimulator that I have is new. It's a brand new company, and I've only been selling them for a few months, and they're very, very valuable. And so often for people that are just too sensitive to even Fortify, this is a really good option. And of course, you can use them both. Like I said, they synergize like in a really powerful way. And so just to review my serums, over here we've got Balance, which has no dermal nutrients in it, and we like it that way. We need to have a really safe, simple, non-stimulating serum, and that's what Balance is all about. And then Fortify, Feast, and Super Feast, they go up in intensity of these bioavailable dermal nutrients there, and many of you have varying of these. And that's lovely, because we want to use the lower dose in the morning, which is Fortify. And then at night is where we can really kick up that dose in a safe way. And then next, I also want to just talk about how this peptide serum that I'm talking about that builds angiogenesis and these dermal nutrients, I want to touch on how those alone won't do it. Now, directly, those ingredients do it. However, they must be sandwiched and incorporated into skin that is not being over cleansed, not being over exfoliated, that it's protected and it's hydrated, and it also has barrier restoration. And barrier restoration is the use of a very dense lipid. I have 5 different moisturizers. I even have an oil now that's available called Anoint. So having that barrier restoration is non-negotiable, Like, you have to have that lipid in place to prevent the water from evaporating from our skin. And of course, with my system, we're inserting water. We're not just adding a moisturizer and calling it good. We're actually inserting water through the Devote mist, and all of my serums are hydrating across the board. What varies is the dermal nutrient amount. So we're inserting that and we're sealing it in with a moisturizer. So sometimes people want to know, like, what's the one ingredient? What's the one product? And I have to just say, it's just not, because our skin can only begin to get angiogenesis when it's out of the red and it's not hungry, and it's not, well, I was going to say hungry. It's not thirsty, and it's not overexposed by having an impaired barrier function. Like, those are just, that's just the baseline what all skin needs before it can even begin to reach towards angiogenesis and getting nutrients and the peptide stimulator into it. So I wanted to touch on that because that's really important. You can't just buy one hero serum and think that that's it, because the serum will perform at like 5% capacity. Here are some things that have been just in the skin news. And the first is that I want to mention that if you have impaired thyroid function and you are on medication so that it's severe, retinols, traditional retinols, and my bioavailable retinols can interfere with that medication. So if you are somebody that's on thyroid medication, call me, check in. We can get you switched over to the peptide stimulator where that does not interfere with the thyroid medication at all. So that was something that has been in the background of something that I wanted to tell you for a while. And I'm finally doing it. So many of you, I've texted about this, but if you haven't heard this from me directly, I want to make sure that all my clients know that if you are suffering from a severe thyroid disorder and you're on medication, then reach out to me, because super feast, fortify maybe not, but it, better safe than sorry. But the good news is we can get you on something that's good. You can get that corrective and that anti-aging, that delayed aging effect that's not with dermal nutrients, and it's with the peptide stimulator. And then the next thing is that, I don't know, I was just like surfing on Instagram the other day and I saw something about beeswax being this amazing skin ingredient. And there was a woman giving like a whole TED Talk style talk about the wonders of beeswax and how it helps skin health. And I just think that this is fantastic. This is so overdue. Beeswax has just been criminalized for so long as being something that clogged pores. This is something that I've been very vocal about. And the new lamina does have a tiny bit of beeswax in it, the one that was remade with mango butter. And it's come out so well, and I'm pretty happy with it finally. It took us a minute to get it, but I just want to, it's a kind of a sign of the times where people are waking up and becoming more aware about how important barrier restoration is. And then that's why beeswax is so powerful for our skin, is it creates just that thinnest little residue that creates this lid basically for our skin, where it supports our own natural barrier. Now, something else worth mentioning is something that I call toxic TikTok mentality. There's so much on TikTok and social media these days that just give tiny pieces of the puzzle, tiny little skin hacks and things that are just so scattered, so disorganized. There's just no cohesive plan with it, and it's just completely understandable why people are just crazy with their skin. There's just no understanding, and people are just doing all sorts of crazy stuff to their skin. So I want to encourage you to actually check out my app. That's something where I've brought all my information together and put it into short little videos so that people can access it at their fingertips. So let's see, what is next? My new office in Colorado. Check this out. So we are on Main Street in downtown Louisville, which is very close to Boulder. It's such a great little house that's been turned into this functional medicine practice. And I have been fortunate enough to share an office with this beauty, Ginger, for the last 6 or 7 years. And she's fantastic. Like, she really knows her stuff. She specializes in women's hormone health, but she treats men, she treats it all. She does a lot of testing for clients. Interestingly enough, her client base is very international, so she's used to working virtually very intimately and closely with people. So definitely check out Dr. Ginger Wolf at Wolf Functional Medicine. This is our waiting area when you walk in. And let's see, I've got a picture of my room coming up. Here it is. I've got the corner front room. There's 2 windows in it. It's beautiful. And then next I want to talk about my app. So my app is something that new clients can download, and it just streamlines the whole process for people. So new clients can come in, they get access to all the videos at their fingertips, so they're not stumbling around. They're not wasting money on TikTok mentality and all of the incorrect products, on wrong strategies. And it's just a really great way that I've streamlined new people coming in. And of course, people still have access to myself. I've created 6 programs. There's an acne program, a delayed aging program. There is a pre, during, and post-menopause program. There is a special program for sensitive skin and rosacea. There is a program for the precursor lesions. These are happening, just more and more often on younger and younger skin. So I saw somebody yesterday in my office who was 34 years old, and she had almost 10 possible precursor lesions. And this is, again, because of over-cleansing, over-exfoliating. Traditional acne and anti-aging protocols are actually creating these precursor lesions. So I have a whole course on that. And then I have one for outdoor athletes, the special needs of people that are just exposed. So, and then I also wanted to mention that I will be in Summerland March 14th through the 26th in my sweet little Summerland Beach office. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. I've got a bunch of you lined up, and I think that's it. I know it's been a while since I've sent a newsletter, and I will send another one, I think sooner than later this time, and I will see you each next time.